So. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we again thank you for this beautiful day you provided for us, Lord. Lord, we ask you to come be with us, guide and direct us, dear Lord. Help us to be discerning in all the decisions that we make today, dear Lord. We just thank you again for all that you do for us, day in and day out. And we pray.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Empty room today, but we'll start with county personnel or public comment. Is there any? Doesn't look like it. So we'll just move down to the first item on the agenda is the minutes from the August 11th meeting. Are there any additions, corrections, or comments on the minutes as presented? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I move we approve the 8/11/2025 minutes.
Is there a second?
I second
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
it. Aye.
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 All right. Motion passed. That's done. Item number 2 on here is a speed limit resolution. Like we have some information about it. Road safety. Information here and maybe a suggestion that if we go this way, we might want to have some public input. Is there any comment on that? At all from anybody?
Yeah, I think we ought to get more public input. Put it off a few.
Okay.
Away that.
Okay, the only thing I would say too is looking at the resolution, it's got it at 40. In my mind, we were at 45.
Correct.
Yeah, I didn't have any much input from what you guys just told the speeding resolution on county road, so I visited with Nikki and found out you just wanted it on paved, not on unpaved. So if that's the case, that's how it's written, but it can easily be modified. So the speed can be modified. It may be the effective date that you want it, but I mentioned to Nikki the 8/15/60 required this to be based on safety considerations. Some of the discussion I heard was mainly about saving the roads or allowing the roads to last longer. So I don't know if that's going to be a sufficient basis. I think you're going to need to have it based on safety considerations as well. So that's a draft to look at. There's some signage that's going to be required. You're going to have appropriate signs giving those the change as well. So since we don't really have a traffic engineer or anything like that, close as far as safety, we might want to do sheriff. I think my understanding is the sheriff's going to mention this to you all as well. So I've been there having the sheriff and then the road and bridge department will coordinate where those signs should be installed. So that's a draft is to get the ball rolling.
Right on. My intention was the 45 and my assumption too was that it would be paved and unpaved. Every road in the county not otherwise posted would be 45 miles an hour. And if I understood you right, Kevin, that's a correction that can be made.
Yeah, any of these are. Like I said, I didn't hear from me. I just heard. I was.
No, it's a good frame.
So yeah, this is just a start. But if you want it on paved, then we can eliminate some of those sections.
Well, paved and unpaved. So
Yeah, so if you want both, I mean, that, to me, that would be easier to defend if you were going to do this, because if the safety is a consideration and the unpaved were not, I mean, the unpaved, the margin's gonna be, really should have a lower speed than paved sometimes, so.
or at least the same, yeah.
So, yeah, so if you want that to apply to everything, that's not a problem. Only guide I had was something similar to, I think it was Pot County. Pot County was 40, so that's why.
Yeah.
That out to That, so,
Yeah, that is true. That, I was there a couple weeks ago and that they had a sign off the 24 highway. That said every road, unless otherwise posted, is at 40 miles an hour. So the safety, I mean, since we're just discussing here, the safety was. I mean, I guess it's as important. My primary concern was the longevity of the road, but what you're saying is that's not a viable reason to do this. So we do need to have some sort of input from the public, I would think. You think?
Yeah, I think it's some of the roads in my area, it's a safety reason. It's how rough they are. It's a safety issue. More than it is saving the roads, and the roads are already a problem, it's just that. On 55, you get beat pretty bad on.
Sure.
Prairie, 320 or don't even down one out.
You that new road or 270s over there, they're just putting in new power poles. To me, right next to the road, can't be more than about 10 feet off the road.
Okay,
So
so
I didn't stop measuring, but right away, it's not very wide over there.
and then longevity of roads is a consideration, it can't be all consideration, that's what.
so in my mind, safety was in there, but I was looking at it from the road and then with safety as a secondary benefit. But so Mr. Limcool says safety is a primary reason and the longevity of the road is second.
Yeah, that would be sufficient, I just think something in
Yeah.
the
I was
discussion or minutes need to be in there. They used to require you to have an engineering and traffic investigation, and that's still, you read statute, the first section does require that, but later it does. Not more about safety traffic investigation, so.
They're both very important considerations. I just had them out of order.
I would say our township roads are in the same areas that we are, they don't have the dollar fee to keep their roads up as good as they used to, so they're not as safe. Or across the county line, just to slow it down.
Sure. Okay, so,
So,
Yeah.
in section 6, I think we only have one sheriff, not. First, line there.
what do you mean?
The Brown County Sheriff or their designee
A designee?
or their, that means there means more than one.
Oh, okay.
Could be the undersheriff, we definitely to do this, or
I don't. To me,
That's just grammatical, you mean? Wait,
Yeah.
should it say his? I don't know. I mean,
or that, yeah.
okay. Well, there it is. Yeah. Okay, no, that's fair and good. Okay, so gentlemen, if we agree, we want to proceed on this, what's our timeline? Do we want to get the budget behind us? Do you want to pull it up in October? Do you want to do it in September? Do you want to do it next week? What do you think?
That works next month.
Next month? That be
That's fine.
fair? And how do we go about scheduling public input? Do we just make it an item on our morning agenda to have some discussion about it, or do we need to have some outreach in another?
It's up to you, I think at the very least, yeah, have it on the agenda for discussion or some public input
Okay,
that way.
okay.
Would that be something we could do on that night meeting?
I think so, yeah, but maybe not the 29th, maybe not this month. We're gonna, here's what I think, we're gonna be so focused on the budget on August 29th. Probably don't want to tee this up at the same time, but what do you think?
I mean, you may have more people there though for that, because I think that last Friday was
Get them home.
Labor Day holiday, I don't know how many people you'll have on that, so. I mean, you could have it before the budget can discuss, or, I mean, however you want to do it. It's not legally required, I just think.
Okay.
Why people coming in here and that's why you did this. But that's a.
So you think we should have it this Friday, this coming end of the month, August 29th?
No, I was thinking when you have people come, you're using the court, my understanding, that's Monday.
For the R&R hearing on
Yeah.
the 25th?
I mean, that's a regular scheduled meeting, that could just be part of the agenda that. But then you might have more people there. I don't know, that's just a thought.
What do you think?
Not planning on passing the budget on. The one that.
I think it would work. I think that if we don't, we're gonna end up getting ourselves behind, we're gonna end up having
Did
to.
I say something wrong?
No, just
It's gotten around the point.
Oh, okay. So that was the trigger. All right. Okay.
I think we need a lot of discussion on the budget before going forward. I think there's, to me, that we gotta stay within, we gotta cut, keep it within revenue neutral.
All right. Well, to stay on the task at hand, if we address the speed limit, we can, if we tee that up on Monday morning, the 25th. That's gonna take
A lot of time.
quite a bit of time, but we will have a lot of folks.
Yes.
If we wait till September, we could do sort of the same format, wait till the end of the month meeting in September. If we have one, and then bring it up.
Give them several option, I mean, don't necessarily just limit it to one day.
Well, that's true. You're right. You're right. I mean. All right, well. I guess I'm getting a little fuzzy here. Tell me what you think. Rich, what do you want to do? When do you want to bring this up? The speed limit? Sooner? What do you think?
I think it'd be best if we get through this month. Get our revenue neutral rate hearing over, get into the first of the next month, and then that will be our next.
Okay. What do you think?
I agree.
Okay, I agree too. So we'll leave this alone until we get through the budget process.
I would think like the second week of the first, it'll still be.
All right,
If something happens and we don't get our budget confirmed on Monday, we're gonna still be against the wall
okay.
into the first of the month. I don't know if it's even physically possible.
I'm looking for that budget timeline sheet. Nineteenth of September, okay. So that's why it has to be done. I mean, sooner rather than later. But if something comes up on Monday, unforeseen, then the hard deadline is the 10th, but that's giving you no leeway for publication. Is that?
So we're talking the second, we have to have it turned in first or second September.
Yeah, which Monday was that was my understanding, was Monday, September 2nd, or Tuesday, September 2nd would be. I mean, that is the drop dead.
That way we can have another revenue neutral rate hearing on the 19th. Right.
Okay, so that means that if our budget deviates any from the way we presented it at all, then we,
down, but it can't go up.
But, you know.
but if we don't pass it on Monday, the 25th of August. So if we make any changes, it's Monday, the 25th of August, and then. And we have to vote for, we have to vote to approve it on that day.
We have to vote to exceed on, once that's decided.
If we reduce it, then we have to reprint our papers and we'd have to approve the new amount that way.
Okay. Very, numbers. All right. So any change that we, I'm speaking out loud here. I'm hoping I'll understand it. And when I say it out loud, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. So on the 25th of August at our R&R hearing, we voted to exceed the revenue neutral rate, which is why we have this this hearing on the 25th. Correct?
Right.
Or,
The revenue neutral rate hearing first. That we're gonna see the revenue neutral rate. And then we go into our budget.
And then we move into budget, so they're two separate things. So then if we make any changes to the budget on Monday, that's fine, but at the end of that meeting on Monday, we have to approve any change that we've made. Then we're good and we don't have to, do we not have to follow the publication?
Not if we go down. no.
If we go down.
We can't go up, so. But it would be, what we would do is we'd just be set our, whatever our no levy will be in at that time, would be approving. A revised budget on this.
So if we don't come up with a budget on Monday, for whatever reason, then that means we jump into some publication issues, and then the second, which would be Tuesday, September 2nd, then we come up with something, or we go to last year's budget. That's the way I understand it. If we don't approve something, then everything just reverts to last year.
Revenue neutral rate. So if we don't approve a budget,
Well, I mean, I'm just throwing the words
Yeah.
out, just trying to understand.
Yeah.
So the R&R thing, that's totally separate. So we approve going over revenue neutral. Then we have the budget component of the hearing where we look at our numbers, and if we as a board here come up with some changes, as long as we approve those changes in the total budget on Monday, the 25th, then everything just rolls on.
we can ask, we can verify with Scott.
We'll have to. So, okay, that's
Because
wonderful.
we made changes before at that hearing, and he would email the new copy with the new numbers.
Okay, all right, sounds good. So we've decided we're gonna push any talk about speed limit resolution to September,
Yes.
to the second meeting in September, which would be the 9th. And then we'll pick that up from there, and we don't have to get in a hurry with the speed limit thing. We can sort of take our time.
Yes.
Go from, all right, so that's what we'll do. All right, now, we have an 8:30, so we have. Now, if we have the public hearing for the land sale at 8:30, does that mean we take 30 minutes?
No.
Yeah.
You just open the floor up for objection.
Similar to those, take a bid or.
Okay. It comes out. So, Mr. Don Pounds came in. You want to give us about 2 minutes, and then we'll have to send you away and have you come back. But you can get us started and we'll start thinking.
Okay. All right, I'm not sure what all you want me to report today.
Well, you're here. I want to start. The building, the construction there, the new addition to the land. I understand you've seen some things that you kind of scratch your head about. Someone needs to supervise the construction out there or be responsible to make sure that the building is going as designed. Don's there every day. Don has some experience in home building.
Yeah, I was a licensed plumber at one time and I taught blueprint reading, carpentry and plumbing for 10 years at a community college. So I have background in how to construct and I've built several houses. All my work's been inspected by state and city inspectors, so I know what it takes to go into residential construction. And I have never worked anywhere where there was no zoning laws or any inspections done at all. And what I've seen here is very alarming to me. And these guys are doing the very best they can. I'm not faulting them at all. They do not have the experience. They are not plumbers. And I'm worried about when the when electricity part comes, what that's gonna look like. Because I've asked questions, they don't have answers. So I'm very concerned, and I think we need to look at the future of maybe trying to get some kind of inspections done on commercial property. I'm just like everybody else. I don't want the government coming and looking at my home stuff. But when we're talking about commercial buildings, I think it would be good if somebody come and look and go. Because I was finding fittings put in backwards. A T that's supposed to flow this way, they had it in backwards completely. It's glued in. But they didn't know any better. I'm not faulting them at all. They're doing their very best, but they don't know how to do it right.
Okay, good stuff. I was around the time. Okay, good. Can you go back and we'll have Mr. Sheets come up and that gets us Thank you. All right, thank you, appreciate it. All right. Now it's 8:30 and on the agenda here is the public hearing for the land sale. The 6.6 acres, I believe, of the county property at the landfill. And is there anyone here to discuss?
We need to adjourn now.
I would just open up the public hearing on the sale of.
Okay. So we'll open up the public hearing regarding the land sale from the county transfer station, the county landfill to Mr. Ian Sheets. Is there anyone here to discuss that?
Wanna pay more?
Okay, I went out and looked at the survey markers.
One is not listed as in the trees. That he was gonna come back, after the leaves have been come on, but be the southwest. Excuse me, southeast.
The southeast was not there.
Yeah.
All right, and then the southwest, there's a water meter
Yeah.
on the north side, but that's for Mr. Cole by us.
I believe so, and he said that even though that is. He chose to put it there because it actually touches the other lot line. So it was even though it's one big parcel, there's a natural break there, so that there's not a sliver of.
Okay, and is it on the county right away anyway, or that road?
Well, the county right away would. It's a north-south boundary, not an east-west boundary.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
The road goes north and south and then.
Right, so that line separating the,
Right.
the lane and the lot from the river versus the Rome and so forth to the south. But, did you find the northeast one?
Northeast, I drove clear back in there and saw that it would be in the trees also.
Yeah, I think he had some ribbon maybe. But
I was in my meeting clothes, so I drove back there in the pickup and then I saw that it was going to be in the trees somewhere.
yeah,
And then I drove to the three corners. And I actually called Andy Tanking and asked him because the one on the driveway next to the water meter had
Right.
ribbons in the trees, but I couldn't see a marker anywhere. And so, but the marker would probably be in the center of the,
he told me he used that, he put it in the tree just to draw attention to where he would have used.
there you go. Okay. So, any more discussion? I mean, Mr. Hill, what else do we do here at this point?
So, at this point in time, you can, just have a motion to make a finding that the described real estate is no longer required and cannot freely be used for public purposes. That would be sold to, Mr. Sheets and his wife or whatever. The amount is that it's in the.
Here we go.
I do have one question, and that this is fine, you can figure it out, I think that it was my brother and I. Partners in it, is that something that you get them in now, or is that something that I need to do? After?
Their motion can have that, so I have Ian and you use a middle initial or name,
Not that you can put T, but yeah.
is that how you usually take real estate or?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, all right. And then your brother, is there, is like an LLC or partnership, I
No.
think just your name,
Just starting.
okay?
And I don't wanna upset the apple cart if that makes things complicated, we can always take care of that.
No, we need to do it right. However you want it.
Yeah, just, I mean, to convey it, since husband and wife, cause I have it as joint tenants, so.
Okay.
I mean, it'd be easier to do it that way and have you guys do it the other way, but, how are we gonna do it?
Then that's fine.
Okay. And I have it as Christie L.
Yep, and that's CHRISTIE.
What's that?
C8 is like Christ with IE and D, CHRIS.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just getting
Yeah,
a lot of ways to spell that, so.
Marcy looked that up, last week. The only thing I need, is once they make that finding, is that if you can get a hold of Tanking and have him. Send us the description in Word format. Yes, in Word format, we have PDF Pro, Adobe Pro, but it will not do degrees, word for some reason won't translate into degrees, so there are several degrees used on here, and so we have I've got the deed ready. To go, but that would be easier to do it that way.
Yes, absolutely. And it's a copy and paste, and I'm trying to type and
Yeah,
yeah. Yes, I'd be glad to send you an email, I'll just reply to the survey.
got my email.
You
Okay, yeah, this and that, we'll get it, ready to go.
Okay, and Mr. Hill, and you used the revised notice of sale that we had in. We made some changes in there about. Additionally, Sheets and his successors and interest will be responsible for any fencing between the subject properties and the maintenance there.
Yeah, I've got that.
That shows up in there, okay. And you'll put property,
That won't be in the deed, in the deed, it was.
well, it's in the contract.
It's just in the agreement that he's making with you all. I mean, there's not a written contract or anything, because we're selling it as is, but. I mean, legally, that's the fencing, right side, so.
Well, what I'm looking at is an email you sent us on.
Yeah, that's the notice.
On what day?
For a contract, you would have to sign that. That's just your notice that you send out notice of sale.
Oh, so we don't actually sign a contract with him?
But if you all want to, I only take direct, I mean, nobody requested a contract, so.
So,
This is what was in the notice of sale, so.
okay, so I don't play the legal, I mean, I honestly don't know exactly the specifics of doing this. So we're doing a quick claim.
You're doing a quick claim, you're not warranting that you have title or anything like that. If you do a warranty deed, you're gonna have the title company do a chain of title search, all that type of stuff. You're selling this as is.
And we certainly don't need to do that, but Ian, we made some, did you see this revised notice of sale?
I did.
Where we talked about fencing and then having you place survey markers designating.
Right, and so if I could address both those points, so the first thing is, once that's done and it's been surveyed and marked as this is the new property, he will put that's part of the survey, he will put the survey pins.
The pins in, right?
Correct, and then I just want to be clear that I would be responsible for fencing, not that you're requiring some kind of fencing or anything like that. No.
Right. What we don't want is for you to require us to fence.
Right, and that's understood and agreed upon.
Okay. So, I mean, are you comfortable signing anything like, I mean, what if we just had him sign this?
He can, sure, it's just,
It's probably doesn't pass the,
portability. I mean, if you want to do that, I'll probably, you could have a title company and a real estate do that form of closing, but since you're just doing a conveying the property that's no longer used by the county, that's all that.
tell me what you think, guys.
I don't believe it's necessary. I don't think there's gonna be fences put up there anyhow. I don't.
Don't have any opinion.
Huh?
I don't have an opinion where.
You don't have an opinion? No, you gotta have an opinion. Will you put some posts in is what I'm after. Like
Sure.
Post
Yeah.
and even a wood post, something permanent.
Yeah.
So when somebody rents that hay ground and gets over on your side, then we don't have to argue about it because there's a post there right next to
Yeah.
the survey.
I've got a bunch of key posts, I'll put the green metal post with something on there. And
Okay.
that way they're up 6 foot above the ground and
Okay.
gets it clear. I'll do my best to put one down in the trees, but in the waterway where
So-
that southwest.
So what I'm after is good fit, good property line.
Yeah.
Make good neighbors.
Yeah,
We
of
just
course.
need to know where they are. So if we have to come back out there or anybody does, there's no question.
Yeah,
This is where they are.
yeah, absolutely.
The survey pins disappear.
Of
and-
course they do. And it'll be easier for all parties involved. If there's.
Okay, then,
So it'd be better if you had a wood post if it was possible to put one in. I mean, back in the trees, maybe it's not, but
I'll do the best, I'll do what I can, it'll be obvious and clear it in paint marker.
sure.
because steel post is easy to move.
Still post flat.
It's easy to move.
Well,
Oh,
or if you hit it,
Sure,
as a farmer,
yeah,
preferably it'd be wood, but
Okay.
I'm not gonna,
yeah. If I can get down through the roots and all that, if it's truly in the trees,
well,
but yeah, I've got a post holder here and I will endeavor to do the most solid way that I can.
all right, so if we're comfortable, we'll just move on. So right now, Kevin, then we make a motion
It's a
to,
motion to find that the described property is no longer required and cannot physically be used for public purpose, and that commission is agreeable to selling it to the sheets for the amount listed in the notes.
I make that in a formal motion, we'll cover the set for the number 20 feet.
Thank you.
all right, So it's been moved to proceed with the land sale as described by our county attorney. Is there a second? I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
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 That motion carried. All right. So we should be in good shape.
Okay, and so Kevin, would your office contact me about any signing and
Yeah.
when I have to?
You do actually want, it'll just be, Mr. Heinen signing as chairperson. Once it's ready, then you can come pick it up and then we, do the filing.
Okay. The final bill includes the charge publication and so forth. Would you be able to supply me with that?
I think Nikki probably would.
Okay,
So
just so long as we know what to write the check. Okay. All right.
I'll turn off that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Yep.
Rich. Bill, thank you.
Right.
I'll put- That's all.
So we're in new territory here. You might just stick around if you have questions.
Absolutely.
Kevin will know what he's at. Kevin will let us, yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. And there's no one here to talk about it. It's done. Now it's over, so you can
Rusty?
exhale.
Yeah,
It's all
sure.
done. Okay. Now, Mr. Pounds, if it works for you, would you come back up?
I didn't know where.
Oh, see this. It's just. Holding through. Okay, you're back. So where we left off was, you have an awful lot of experience in the construction industry. I shouldn't say all, you have a tremendous amount of experience in construction industry. You saw some things that were concerning. You've addressed some of them, but you're worried about what may come in the future.
Right, and my biggest concern, I will make sure that this project, that we're good with it, but I'm worried about the public. You know, I don't feel they have anyone that's protecting them in the future for commercial buildings in this county and. Somebody that knows something about it should be taking a look at it. Make sure that the drain fittings aren't put in backwards, because that would have never worked the way it was. And I just happened to catch it.
I know, we just went through a building project with the church. There was no. We were outside the city limits, but there was no inspections, no nothing for our whole projects. So you have to have faith in who you're working with. But I'd be willing to, with Dawn, I'd be willing to go out there more often and. Cause I know them, I have a little bit of a working rapport with them. That would help out. I could make more presence out there. On this project.
Yeah, and I'm not having any problems with the company. It's just they do not obviously have the experience. And know how. They are very unhappy with who they had hired to be their plumber and electrician. You know, not showing up, being very, very slow, and they want to get this project done, so they're doing it themselves. And not knowing how, just trying to do the best they can. And when I point things out, they jump right to it and do the best they can to fix it the way it should be. So they're trying. But I'm worried about people in the future. I just want to bring that up. If I hadn't had that, the footings were done properly, you got to get below the frost line. I checked all that before they backfilled it and everything, so we're good there. But who's to say another contractor isn't doing that, and then the public is the one that pays the price for that? If it's a private person doing the work, I don't care, that's their, farmhouse that's being done, they're responsible for that, but not a public building.
I'm going through looking for the bids when we did this. Did you go over the bid? The bid we accepted from our company and look at everything specifically and is there?
I have not done that since these items have come up to see exactly, but I don't remember there being anything. Because usually it's that it will be built to the uniform building code to meet that. Like on your electrical, there should be no spot on the wall that's more than 6 foot from a plug-in. That's the uniform electrical code. For residential, I can't answer commercial. Okay, so who's checking to make sure they got enough electrical receptacles put in? I brought it up to the electrician that showed up once. I go, we've got a 200 amp entrance into the old building. What are you doing with the new one coming in? Because we've already got 200. are you putting a 400 amp in the other and making this a sub panel over here? And he didn't have an answer. He said, I don't know, I was part of the bid process, I'm just here to do it afterwards. I don't think they have a plan. And I'm worried about it not being done right.
Um, So after talking with Mr. Pounds over, well, last week and a little bit on the weekend. I had an idea, or we had an idea to grant Don some sort of supervisory authority out there. And it basically, he would be the commission's representative. As far as quality control or whatever you want to call it, to make sure that building is.
I mean, I would think that he would have that, that's his building going, that's their building going up there, they would have to say so over that.
Well,
And can hold the construction people accountable.
if you think he has that already, then that's fine.
I mean, I do, you should be able to call it out if it's not right, you tell
And so far, they've been receptive
them. I think they
to
would.
that, so.
Well, then that's fine. If he has that authority from us and it's good for us to at least tell him that, so he can act
Well, I'd be
accordingly.
glad to help anytime, but I know a lot of them. That needs communication.
And one thing on that building, and we talked about this before, they are back to pushing, they want them little individual units put in each one of the scale office and each one of the other offices. The little ones that don't work below 10 below 0, like you've got at your house. They're back to wanting to put those in.
Oh,
And they go, it's gonna save them money, which when I looked at the bid, those were really expensive, so I don't think they do. But he's supposed to get me details on it, but we're gonna have a backup heat for when the temperature does get down to that.
part of it.
And I don't have experience with those, so
Do you have, I can't find the bids in my system. Okay,
So that's a heating unit.
yeah, we better not.
heating and cooling.
I have pretty serious reservations about going on these, but that's part of the bid. I think we need to stick that way we have.
Okay. I have no experience with them, so that's why I'm asking.
Okay, well, my experience is not good when it gets cold. When it gets cold outside, then they don't work.
And that's up on top of a hill.
Yeah.
There's no protection.
To me, they're just designed as a supplement. Yeah, a secondary heat.
In this part
You
of
know, like for upstairs where it doesn't get cool enough and you can add a little cooling for upstairs in the house.
And we'd already changed that before you accepted the bid, so
We did,
that's
yeah.
where we were at, so I
I
don't
just-
know, we're not being allowed to change.
Okay.
Stay with that.
yeah, I think we better. Okay, well, I couldn't find a copy of the bid, so,
Okay.
so.
And I,
Find it and send it to me.
my computer's upstairs, you can work on it, I can send it to you.
Well, it's all, okay, so, Kevin, while you were out, we were talking about the noxious weed building. And making sure that Don, as the department head out there, has the authority over this building project. If he sees some things that are questionable, or he feels like are not satisfactory, that he would have the ability to represent us as commissioners in making the changes necessary out there.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't incur additional cost, I think that's fine. If it incurs additional cost, I think you could probably come back to the commission on something like that.
Okay, and I'm saying that would incur additional cost on the county's part. If it does to the contractor, like they had to tear out all the drain that they had put in and put in new, that's their cost, not ours. So it is an additional cost, but it's theirs.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm talking about additional cost to the county.
Yep, okay, I'm fine with
So
that.
he has our authority essentially when he's out there on the job site.
If you designate that, I mean, I have a motion just to authorize them to work on a. Maybe designate him as inspector, but and to represent the county on any. Are there alterations that have to be made or so?
Not at
This
this
is just
point.
general supervision.
Yeah. So yeah,
I
you
would
can
think
just
that-
designate them as a person that just provide general supervision, and then if there's going to be increased cost to the county. You can come back at that.
Wouldn't that be as is? Job title out there, you charge of the land.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you have the ability to inspect and watch as it goes along, call anything to our attention.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
that's fine.
inferred and we don't need, it's inferred that he has that
Yeah,
authority.
yeah,
We don't need
yeah, I
that.
think that.
We've done it once on our own. We want it. once by the county attorney, so I'll be in good shape. Yeah, you should get, I mean, before. Okay, are you on a time crunch?
Yeah, I've got to head up for 9 o'clock court, so. I did talk to Mr. Sheets, and so in the event that he wanted, cause it's, he has a brother going in on this with him, that's going to share responsibility, so. If he wants that individual added to the deed, I assume that's not an issue with the county commission, as long as it's the same cost.
Yeah, not, I mean, it's,
Okay. All right, so yeah,
Maybe some-
if there's a way of doing that, we'll try to do it without complicating things, so.
okay. I think simple. I love it. Okay,
All right.
all right, thank you very much, thank you very much, all right, okay, now, while Mr. Pounds is still here, I'm gonna call, 10
Could we
minutes.
do,
Go.
just one other?
Yes,
I would like you guys to officially consider looking into having some kind of inspection program in place for a commercial building in this county.
okay,
And that's all I have to say.
Let's put it on our list.
Yeah.
would you put it on the back page for next month? Yeah, we're trying to get through the budget now, so
Okay.
we'll look at that, later. Okay, now I would make a motion, we've got about 9 minutes before our next appointment for a, let's call it an 8-minute executive session to discuss, personnel. Yeah, right, personnel, I guess, conduct, with Mr. Pounds, with the county clerk and the 3 commissioners present. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Case we moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. So we'll go into executive session. We'll come back. I mean, just right at 9 o'clock. All right, sorry, but thank you. Okay. Okay, everybody go to your email.
I don't either, but I would expect that to be a security key because there's over $10,000.
Okay, we're out of executive session. We're back in the regular with no binding action taken. You can go ahead and talk about what you put in.
I would expect that to be a security key with a law of who's got these keys. It shouldn't be that I just go down to Walmart and have one made. It should be a law of who has it and everything, so. I need another key for when she's gone, that I can come make that deposit.
Who would speak with to make that happen? You said.
I wasn't part of them.
Okay. Okay, can you speak with the treasurer then and ask about that? And if you. Yeah, I don't know what hoop you jump through to get a key, but if you have trouble, just let us know and we'll fix it. Okay, I would make a motion then to allow Mr. Pounds to present solid waste employee with terms for back to address the back compensation. And get that taken care of. Do I need to be more specific from that? Okay, I give Mr. Pounds as transfer station manager, the authority to offer the employee the back wages of $3,217.50 to address the compensation due but not paid. Is there a second?
Second that.
Do you understand what I said?
Think so.
Okay.
Finally got it to come up on here.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. And the clerk will email you this, so you'll have it, and then you might just send an email back whenever you have some results, so we understand what happened.
And you'll send me a form for her signature.
Yeah. maybe.
Okay, right on.
Okay.
Anything else?
I'm having a big problem with this new requirement on the credit card. Okay, we had one Friday and I went to the extreme of when it was denied by the credit card company. We did a screenshot of here's why it was denied. You know, it's got everything on it. And that's what we used to send in, and that's not meeting the requirement. And I cannot keep taking time away. We're already spending an hour to make that deposit every day in Bookport. But each check has to be recorded 4 separate times. That is absolutely ridiculous. Should only have to be done once. I would like one of you 3 to come out and do a deposit one day and see how much work we're being required to do. It shouldn't be. We do it on the computer, it's printed out, should be right there. We're making copies of the checks and everything. All that stuff is on our records and documented. We shouldn't have to make a copy, write it down by hand on a piece of paper, do it electronically on a adding machine where it puts down the check number, the amount, and then handwrite it onto it. It's 4 times for a check. It's ridiculous. And I would like one of you to come out and see the process, and now it's being added to. When we have never been accused of missing any funds. You know, all our tickets are serial numbered. We've never been one missing in years that I've been aware of. You know, why are we being made do all this extra work? Because apparently the credit card company is,
There may be a good reason, maybe an accounting reason, but I don't know.
well.
So that's a good idea. We'll come out, check it out, and you're meeting the requirements given to you by the treasurer. Office, is that right?
Not the new ones. The new ones are, we gotta have down how many times it was run, what happened each time.
I meant your deposit, the accounting you're doing right now is based on the recommendation from the treasurer's office.
Yes,
And so your concern is they're adding a new one over the credit card.
right, and the old one's way too much.
So if we,
Work.
is it fair to say
Yeah.
we need to go over the accounting methods at the landfill and maybe have a meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
I challenge one of you to come out and look at this deposit scenario and say it's fair.
Okay.
There's way too many steps.
We'll do it, but it won't be until after.
That's fine.
It'll be in September.
That's fine.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
All right.
All right. We have a 9 o'clock. You're so gracious as to wait till 9:06, but I assume you're Luke Sunderland.
Yeah.
Am I right? Okay, come on up.
All right.
Sorry to make you wait.
No, not a problem.
You
Not
wanna
a
see
problem
it?
at all. Yeah.
Lucas,
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Right. Bill?
All right.
We'll stop your resume, but I'm
Uh-huh.
a visual person, so.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, so you're here. We, possibly, you know, in air quotes, we're looking at, county council. And so your name came up, you were recommended by Mr. Hill as someone who may be interested in, I guess, sharing a little of the burden that's on him. So, you got a copy of your resume here. What is it? I mean, a resume is a resume.
Sure.
Gosh, you went to Germany.
Yeah. I went to Germany there. That's where I met my wife, Carlotta. Sunderland, who she's worked for a while with the Lloyd Group as a person of that. So yeah, that was that little.
That's how that happened, huh?
Yeah, that is how that happened. So,
So what do you offer? What can you offer to the county that would, I guess. What's my question for you is, excuse me, what do you have, what can you bring to the county that maybe we're not aware of?
well, I mean, consistency, I think, is the real cornerstone of how I like to run my practice. Getting things back in a timely manner, trustworthy and diligent manner. The objective up there, I really don't think that is just a simple platitude, but something that I really try to frame my practice on. So the three virtues really there are trustworthy, diligent, and prudent legal counsel. So trustworthiness, speaking for itself there. Diligent, making sure that things are done correctly in an appropriate manner, and then prudent legal counsel. There's a lot of wisdom that comes through the practice of law, or to practice law well. Wisdom is really the key virtue, which those other two, I think, depend. So those are really the three cornerstones that I try to do everything with those in mind. So looking at my experience, I haven't been county counselor as of yet. However, I'm the city attorney for Sabetha, Seneca, and Marysville. So I keep Highway 36 pretty hot. And many overlapping issues, I'm sure, with municipal law. I think I'd say our practice is focused a quarter real estate, a quarter state planning, a quarter municipal law, and then a quarter everything else. So it is a primary area of practice that I'm involved with every day. And that is, really kind of the direction that I would be looking at being county counselor.
So it says Sunderland and Mishler, are you the primary?
So yeah, I am the primary now. Yeah, Martin is working 3 days a week, all remotely. So it was,
Okay.
yeah.
So you work for the Marysville Sabbatical.
Yes.
When are their meetings?
All in the evenings. Just a quick answer. Second and fourth Monday of the week, and then Marysville and Sabetha are on Wednesday nights at the same time. Sabetha starts at 6, Marysville starts at 7. So usually I'm a couple minutes late to the Marysville meeting, but yeah, usually we'll put both.
And what's an assistant county attorney?
Yeah, so that is the assistant prosecutor role in Marshall County. Marshall County has had their county counselor and prosecution separated for quite some time. So I and Mr. Lippert are the prosecutor aspects of that county attorney. So that is
Portland sale on Wednesday mornings, so I work Thursdays in that capacity.
Any questions?
Um. So. So when you're doing that, you represent the county and not the defendant, right?
Correct, yeah, I have done defense work in the past, but in that capacity, I represent the county.
So what we find is that there's meetings when we really need to have an attorney present, and there's other meetings where we just sort of know. So what does what are you offering? Are you here would you be here every meeting? Would you
Yeah.
be-
All other things equal, meet Monday mornings primarily. Have Monday mornings etched out of my calendar to work here. Not sure, whether, Kevin would allow me to use his office, but if there's, point being is if you're not meeting me for time, I'm sure there's stuff I can be doing, at another office.
Sure.
Working remotely, and maybe that Monday morning slot.
Is there anything about, I guess yourself that maybe is not on your resume that we should know? I mean, do you,
Yeah, no, nothing that really comes to mind, I'd recommend, you can speak with any of the city administrators, I just named, Mr. Haberkamp as one of them, needing any reference, but Doug Allen, Sabetha, Steve Brooks and Seneca, would all of them speak on legal services provide.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I was writing down what you've told us before, so.
Yeah.
Um.
I know we have, Monday meetings, and sometimes at the end of the month. On a Wednesday, we'll just have one meeting a month on a Wednesday versus Monday and a Wednesday meeting, otherwise we have a Monday and on Friday, we have another meeting on Friday, but usually those meetings are shorter. Not as much stuff on the agenda. No, but a lot of times it's just supporting with that. On Mondays to start, the meeting off with a no. Usually in the first hour, we know if there's something that we're gonna have to address with you, or half hour, really. Usually we'll know, and we'll ask Kevin, because Kevin will always come up to court.
Yeah.
Because he has court.
Yeah.
On day too, so.
Yeah, and my schedule would be much more flexible than the motion day that Kevin has on Monday. Monday really is frankly, a good day for me. Aside from being Monday objectively. So,
So when you say motion day,
yeah, I believe that's what, Mondays is for Kevin, is when the judge hears the motion, so, yeah.
so you wouldn't have any other,
No, I haven't been, practicing defense work in Brown County for a bit over a year, and I'm not, planning on picking that up. Would you rather this and-
so yeah, we're just looking at options
Sure.
to. Yeah, I don't have the best way to say, lighten the load, to spread the work out a little bit, maybe there's even some, you see. Some people are separating out like elected county attorney versus county council before. Some counties are doing, I think it's important to have a distinction there. And I wish I had more questions for you, but you pretty much answered them so fast. That was, we're gonna. I mean, does anyone have anything else? I mean, we didn't talk about, he has a number here. When Mr. Hill presented his budget, I mean, what's your fees look like?
Yeah, so most of my cities are up to a retainer amount and then billable after that. I of course have my own hourly billable rate. I think, I would be going into this thinking of it as a long-term commitment. I mean, that would sure be the goal. I have Mark in here, I believe, I'm a seventh generation Brown County, Nemaha County resident. First of my family, I guess, to be on the Nemaha side for quite some time, but, so I'm really am, hoping that it's a long-term project. So to that end, one aspect that I would specifically be looking, or desirous of would be, papers and insurance benefits. Being in a private practice, you can imagine that that is, one detriment, to that practice. So, I would be thinking of a salaried amount of $40,000 plus papers and, insurance.
And how much work would that entail? I mean, what are you thinking? Is that, how many hours for the meeting? I mean, you just,
Yeah, Mondays are, I would probably, I'd be flexible.
I guess what I'm asking is,
Yeah.
is that money, is that salary ask, is that based on, 20 hours a month, 30 hours?
Yeah,
I don't know what
yeah,
number
I
you
mean,
use to get
That number looks like around 4 hours a week.
4 hours.
And I mean, all of this, I mean, as I'm sure you're more than aware, it's all very, not even seasonal. It just comes in waves at different times. Depending on issues that arise. So, trying to find long-term advocates is a bit difficult, but, for the time away to be devoted, for that morning, that's the number that I would find, be appropriate.
Okay. All right. Well, is there any more questions? Bill's formulating one.
No, it's a budget time.
Yeah, I know, yeah, yep. But. And, to that point, kind of the other aspect of that is, Marshall County Counselor, that is, I believe just at his amount as well, and that is a position that is separated from county attorney.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that is, earmarked alongside that as well.
All right. And so would there be, is there any like, what do you call ancillary costs there? Is there travel? Is there anything on that? Is that all worked in?
No, I think that would all be worked in outside. If there would need to be a out of town court appearance, or,
All right.
some mileage
Okay.
for that. And then if anything, of course, would need to be filed, filing fees and such, of course, would be by the county.
All right. Well, any more questions?
No, I mean, sometimes we have to have resolutions drawn up or things like that, but most of that probably could be done within the time period that you're asking for, we think, because not every Monday we be sitting in here for 4 hours straight to be able to, but yeah.
Yeah, and, yep, resolutions or something.
I mean, 4 hours a week seem like it's, I don't know how much. Time it really takes, but it seems like that's quite a bit.
All about questions. I mean, this was easy, it was painless. I thank you for coming in, really. It's good to meet you. I've heard your name before, but I just knew nothing about you.
Well, anytime someone speaks with an attorney and says painless, that is probably the highest compliment that I can get.
I like jokes, so.
There you
good
go.
job.
All right,
Thank you.
See you.
Good. All right, the next item on our agenda is Scott Lloyd. He's Zoom, right? So Scott, so that's at 10 o'clock. So we've done such a good job. We're way ahead of schedule, but I noticed Sheriff came in. Would you like some time?
Yeah, you guys have time for 15 minutes. Sitting on all that personnel.
We do.
Pretty long.
We do.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so we need 15 minutes, executive session for 15 minutes with the 3 commissioners and the sheriff. And that's it, to discuss non-elected personnel.
Okay. And, I have already on the.
Okay, so I'll make that in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Guess we move and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. We'll be in for 15. All right.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you. We're out of
Very much.
executive session, back into regular with no binding action taken. Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You bet. See you guys later.
All right, now we're filling time. So it's 9:37. We have a 10 with Mr. Lloyd. So here, from last week, we talked about, um, freedom claims. That was on, you remember that? Freedom claims, which would be, and that's in our email. Let me get that thing. And there was some discussion about whether or not to proceed with that. So does anyone want to take action on that? It's on the back there. That was on the back. For a time filler, we needed to make a motion because okay, so in my understanding, the majority here didn't want to pursue. So we wanted to rescind the motion. And if that's the case, then we need to put that in the form of a motion and go on. So we can just move.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm not in the majority, but I'm the guy that has to talk. So does somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion that we rescind the motion offered to Freedom. What was it? Freedom
Claims.
claims.
Okay, so is there a second?
Second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to rescind the motion to freedom claims. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed, say nay. Nay. Motion carried. 2-1. So that's done. And that's fine. So that's all I had for extra. Other than I did have some ideas, you know, I mean, because the budget thing never goes away. Do we want to discuss that now, or we have a little time, or you want to do it in work session? Okay, so when I do this, I am not the professional that our county clerk is. I don't put it all in the computer and spreadsheets and stuff, which has got to be frustrating for people, but I just do my best work on number of things. So the first one I did, and I think we need to clarify this because this is what I'm hoping with the budget process. And I looked at the clerk and this is one we've talked about it before, and my goal, and I just need to be public about it. My goal is to have as few people possible in county employed that are paid well and are doing their job well, like what they do, want to work here. They're working hard and are getting paid for it. So I'm hoping to take the workload and condense it between fewer people and pay those fewer people better. So here I am. So the clerk, the elected official, I have it. And do you want me to talk numbers, or should I make a copy of this so you can see? What do you think? Might be easier. I'm not aware. Can somebody make a couple of copies of this for me? I don't even know how to do it. All right, technical assistance. You want to make me 3 copies? Okay. Thank you. Suppose I ought to learn how to use the copy machine. Well, she's not here. A lot of people do a lot of things I'm not aware of, but I've avoided copy machines this far. I just want to keep going. Did you have anything, Bill, you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want to talk
Okay,
about
roll.
the revenue neutral thing and why we shouldn't exceed it.
You already made your copies.
And I've been working, trying to figure out how to do that and still come up. I mean, by cutting the budget some and by doing this and that, I thought I'd come up pretty close to it. And still,
All right.
so,
You want us to see copies of that? Did you make it?
yeah,
Thank you. I see. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Perfect. So that's who needs to see. So Bill, you got the floor. You can go on if you'd like.
So I kind of. There's three main. Areas that to me were outstanding. Was the general budget, the road and bridge, and the counts on the employee benefits. And. By I was kind of going from. Some of the stuff he gave us. Where it says, on this page. Where it said. As last year's and stuff, and it comes up with mill levies, and then. Going back in there and trying to figure out what's available, what we have available, and what's. Let's see.
What you got? Your handwriting guy.
And I got one. Um,
This whole, you have to type.
so, well, like the journal starts out with a. Income that's available. That was on page, yeah, these pages are not, but.
What I'm looking at is the handout. Scout.
Okay.
It's got a letter from Warren Zanzer from the 1st of July. I don't remember.
And none of the. I don't know, to me, it was pretty confusing. I had that pretty hard to figure out, but.
You trying to find that 1.8? Did you add all that together?
No, it was in there somewhere. Well, the resources available. That's part of it. Yeah, okay, so on page 7 or whatever.
And it was just to start out. Am I looking at the right document? Does yours start out? No, yours is different. Yours is,
This might be an older one.
his is different.
Yeah. You will look at this one, I think. I don't know. Some of it might both be in here, I don't know.
That's what we'll find. Been keeping all this stuff. But it's not the one in color. This one?
I think so.
Okay. So it must be an older one. It's got a little.
Right.
back.
Well, on this one, if you had, I think it's maybe on this page here. On this page. On this page.
All right.
Look, we got so many papers, I can't.
It's fine.
Keeping track of them.
I understand. So what page number? Page number 14?
14 on that. If you're looking on this one, it's what's page number 6, I think. Well, not A6, go clear back.
I'll get there.
Or 7.
Page 6, it's page 7. All right, the other part is done. We found it.
So anyway, so what was available was this over here. It says resources available, which I think comes from the past year. I'm not sure where it comes. And then expenditures was down here.
This is the general fund.
Right, the general fund. And the total expenditure for that number. But these numbers were before I think we adjusted it, so. I went over to here and then from, this is what our numbers were on our budget sheet. And subtracted it what was available, and that left us with about $3 million to come up with. And you took that times this 1.2%. That delinquent or whatever. And that gave me that, you needed about 13.599 mils to cover that. So then from page back here, it said that was the revenue neutral rate or whatever. It took to be 11.37 or something. That's on the base.
I see.
So I assume that was what we were trying to get to stay revenue neutral. So that left us with 2.229 mils to come up with. That was like $500,000. And then that wasn't including the cash reserve, so if you finish one I gave you on the back, then it shows that took your cash reserves off of that original expenditures, then it got it down to, so you only had anyway, come up, got it down to 10.292 mils, which to me was neutral.
So it was my understanding this cash reserves is in the negative. If you use that number, the 750, that's not an actual reserve, that's spending more than we had.
We don't have any cash.
Well,
I think we had, the number I keep using, Bill, is $113,000.
$145,000.
Is what we have in unencumbered cash. And the neat thing about this is he's gonna be on the.
Right,
here in about 10 minutes, so.
right, so maybe we just wait, but I kind of wanted to show that I thought we could come up with
Okay.
cutting the budgets enough, and like in the road and bridge, can't have a $4 million budget, you gotta get it down to 3.8 or
All right.
3.6 budget. I mean, you gotta make some cuts, and that's what we gotta do. We gotta, when you don't have money, you gotta make cuts, and you gotta say no to some things, and you can't just keep spending and keep taking from people. And we just gotta do with what we got. When we. Just.
So you're comfortable then if we want, really any money we take from road and bridge. That's gonna be materials. We probably won't be able to save much on labor. But you still need a certain amount of manpower to get the job done.
But,
So you're looking at not chip sealing some roads, maybe not fixing.
well, it seems like often we have some left over.
Mhm.
And I don't think I cut it that much.
Well, let me ask you this, Bill. If we didn't have enough over, you wouldn't be fixing your bridges and roads right. You can't argue with
Right.
that. That's why we plan so we can fix these roads and can fix bridges and stuff. I mean, if we don't have extra set aside,
But this isn't the year to set aside extra, not opposed to setting aside extra, but when everybody's got increased taxes and stuff, it's not the year to sticking with that extra.
So it's the budget reserve that you're having trouble with, the unencumbered cash reserve. So we're gonna be down to 113,000, 120, whatever the number is. And when we did our numbers, our budget numbers with our commission adjustments, we came and trying to build about $750,000 in reserve. So you're against the reserve.
Reserve, yeah.
So the reserve is about 3 million. Give and take, so. Okay,
I guess
so
that's
these departments that have negative balance, cash balance. They can't operate.
but aren't we accounting for that in the other 6 mills that we're raising over? So we're asking for 9, with 3 of those essentially being for unencumbered cash to build reserve, and the other 6. My intention on paper is that everyone's paying their bills. We're not asking anyone to reach into a pot of money that doesn't come into it. Some people are going to capital improvement, right?
Yeah.
They're pulling some out just to kind of use that money,
This year, because we've asked them to do it.
but everybody's paying their bill. Now, our budget, everybody's paying their bills. plus we're adding 3 mills for erosion. That's what I see. Is that? Maybe we need to ask Mr.
Right.
Harold.
But, yeah. So anyway, that's where I'm coming from. To me, we can't be raising. All the other entities in the county, like the cities and stuff, they got their budgets. They managed to keep it low.
Did Hiawatha City?
I don't know about how it's sick,
Horton did, and USD 430 did pretty close, so my township did.
like, so it looks really bad when we're sitting at 23% increase and everybody else is pulling.
So did you happen to look, Bill, and see what their mill levy did? What got the county in trouble is the last 7 years, where the county kept the mill fairly steady, and just relied on property value increase to get more tax revenue, and Scott showed us that.
Right,
I wonder what the city of Holton and USD 430 did. Did they kind of play the game and keep raising it? Or the county just didn't?
the city of Horton, they put a big bond issue in that, well, one thing that raised it. So,
My thing was, that I'm gonna say, we didn't get here this year. We got here starting back 7-8 years ago. When we wanted to be so frugal with our money, so we kept using our cash reserve away. So now we're at a point where we have no choice. If we want to continue to operate in the county, be effective. Well, we're gonna have to raise.
but you had a reserve and you were able to use it, so we kept spending. That COVID money didn't help us any, because we had to spend a lot. And to get this, to get it. This is the year to try to recover all that, and it's, you just gotta spend what you got, and you can't be taking more, spending it. If you haven't got the money, you gotta quit spending it. Just like that thing I brought up last week about Tyler Technologies.
Hiawatha City PD.
No, it was payroll checking in. And can't find that figure right now, but how much that costs per person. And we gotta find better ways to use the money, or if we can't. It's just a fact that if you haven't got the money, even though it's a good deal and you think it's necessary, we have to drop that, or you just can't provide that service all the time.
So, we might. If I remember that right, was it around $7,000-8,000?
Yeah.
Well,
Like
$7,000-8,000.
$8,000.
So that's for the time cards for every department. Under our rate. Okay,
But
so if we gotta look at the cost benefit. So if we would remove something like that, the electronic time cards, yeah, we did save $8,000, but we still gotta get those hours to where they need to go. And I'm not saying you're wrong, I just, we have to really push a pencil, sharpen it, is what my dad would say. You really have to sharpen your pencil on that one. It may not save you any money. I mean, somebody might have to do. What would that be? 400 hours worth of work, $20 an hour to replace that, and that's. Probably real. To do, to get all that information? I don't know, just talking out loud.
well, how did they do it 10 years ago? How did they do it 20 years ago?
Now.
I mean, just cause something,
No,
a computer stuff's available, doesn't mean it's always the best way to do it.
But all the time.
Yeah.
Not to.
I wouldn't be for, I mean, I'd be looking at, maybe there's a company that might do it at a better rate, but I don't know if you'd go back
Going to compatible with.
lunch cards.
The system used for people, they carries over.
Populates in the payroll.
But to your point, you're focusing on that, but that may not be the place to focus. Your point is valid. But you may look at Tyler Technologies and say, well,
I mean, that
we kind of need that.
was, well,
Now, we did look at, remember way back in the winter time, when we got off of Civic Plus, is that right?
right,
Okay, so we did that
save money
and
that
saved
way.
some money and. I mean, that, to me, that was wonderful. That was about the same dollar figure, so we can do it, and we should. I'm not sure Tyler Technologies is where I.
But it's just,
Can I ask, I guess, a favor, since Scott's coming on at 10, can we take a 3-minute recess?
okay,
Okay, all right, so I would make that a motion. I'd make a motion to take a 3-minute recess, come back at basically 10 o'clock. Is that seconded?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you so. Takes a lot of brain power for 3 minutes.
Yeah, it
You
does.
gotta remember where you got your numbers.
Right,
There we go.
costs like $94 per employee, it's got 36 cents a day.
So $8 a month, an employee essentially to do that.
This is winter time, can't they write in a book and
I don't know. So, I mean, I just don't know.
to me. It's just,
It's not always problems. Change is not always. Right. Of course, courthouse used to not have air conditioning, just open windows too. You know, times it just changed. Maybe you make a motion to cut the AC. Mitchell seconded.
I told her,
And it'll be big.
I made the phone when I came in, it's cold in here somewhere.
I thought that was funny. All right, are we ready to go again? I think it's 10 o'clock. We'll go ahead and reconvene. Call the meeting back to order. We have Mr. Scott Lloyd on Zoom. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yeah,
All right,
and
welcome.
I will make one comment before you get started. If you
Okay.
go to no AC, I might just have to do all Zoom meetings.
We try to have a lighthearted atmosphere in county commission. Not everything we say is policy, I guess, or actually not everything we say is listening. Anyway, good morning. You have some, we're here, I guess, to ask you some questions and maybe you
Sure.
have some comments that you want to start with. And if so, go ahead.
Yeah, Nikki, did you get my second one? It doesn't matter. It's not that big a deal. Yeah. So, there's only one number I noticed, but I did this pretty quick. And this is kind of what I was telling you, I'd like to kind of keep working on here to make sure, because there's been a lot of changes. I want to make sure that it's right. But it's that original sheet that I gave you that shows the, like assessed value from last year to this year and the differences by whether it's real estate and all that. And then I had the 24 numbers on there, the next group down were the 24, and that was on your original sheet. And what I did is took the budget that you have now before any more changes today, and I put in the 25 expenditures and the 26 expenditures without cash and showed you where your balances would be. And so one that caught my attention, if you look at the general fund, in the 25 expenditures and the balance, you'll see it's on your budget form too, but it's unencumbered cash balance is 22,290. I don't know if you see that or not there. It's a second grouping there of cash. It's also on, if you want to look on your budget too, it's also on page 6A. So that's another place to look. But that one kind of caught my attention because we were talking about that. Where are we going to be by the end of this year? And because of the way that we cut back last year to get to, I think, revenue neutral last year after a 9 million, 8 or 9 million increase, I think last year when you were working on it. And so cash is going to be even, looks like to me, be even tighter depending on how you handle it. And then what I did at the bottom, I've got to work on this a little bit, but this is off of that one worksheet you were talking about earlier, I think, well, when we were up there last time. I took the total receipts, total expenditures projected. I've got to double check these numbers a little bit, but you'll see the differences there, like you saw on the bottom sheet. And then what I did is I took the mill dollars for the year, for each of those years, and divided it to see how many mills that deficit, if there was one, was in mills. So you can kind of see over there from 18, then 19 was a negative 419. 22 was a negative 4.96, 23, 305. 24, I just saw some numbers more. I'm not sure. I got to double check that column a little bit. But then you can see the average. This was kind of interesting. The average each year is that 1.29 negative. And this kind of got my attention. Remember how I told you I probably look at budgets just a little bit different, but instead of going like this, up and down, big numbers, trying to stay constant, with keeping up with whether it's inflation or some things that you're doing, that would say over the 7-year period, you had an average deficit on the mill levy of about 1.29. Do you understand what I'm saying there?
Yes.
That kind of gives us a big picture of the 7 years. If we would have done like even a 1 mil increase in a lot of those years, we wouldn't be in the situation we are today. I'm not sure about the 25 projected there yet. I'm not sure if those numbers are exactly, it's showing a deficit there of 1.2 million or 5 mils. I got to double check that. But anyway,
Scott?
yeah.
Well, sorry.
No,
here's a
you're fine.
question. Do I need to raise my hand or something so I don't cut you
No,
off?
no, you're fine. Just talk. Yep.
Okay, so 24, you show on what you just, that we actually were, the county was ahead 2.43 mils.
I'm not sure that's right. I just did that.
Okay.
What happened is all these changes back and forth over the last few weeks. I went in this morning and I was looking at the 7-year history and I didn't know if it got updated. So before you hold on to that column there, let me double check, and I'll get you a fresh one of this. But this is something like what I thought would be very helpful for the public to understand where, how we got to where we're at. Those 3 groupings of cash negative there. I don't want to be, even if you did, let's just say you wanted to, I was looking at this morning. Let's just say in each of those, instead of having a 6-month reserve, we even had a 3-month reserve. You know what? We didn't even worry about the 6 month. We just wanted to get a 3-month reserve. So literally on those ones that are 6 months, which is general, road and bridge, and employee benefit, if we cut those differences over here on the right-hand side in half, we would still be fairly significant differences. You see what I'm saying? And that, some people say, well, maybe 6 months is too much, in some of these funds, but governments are not like a business. You can't just go get a line of credit. So that's why I've always done the 3 to 6 months. But that would be something you could shoot for too. Maybe we want to get to a 3-month reserve down the road instead of a 6 month.
So one of the
Mhm.
comments that was made already this morning before you jumped on by
Yep.
Mr. Pollock was just trying to get even. Not
Mhm.
worry about building the reserve this year, just
Yep.
essentially stemming the outflow, paying our bills and rolling on.
Yeah,
We're looking at, if I understand our budget correctly, we're asking for 9 mils over the R and
Yep.
R, which pays
Mhm.
all our bills and essentially puts about 750,000, I believe is the number, into that unencumbered cash.
in the general fund, yep. Mhm. Yep,
So, and again, if I do my math right, it takes like $35,000 a day, three
yeah,
hundred sixty-five days a year to operate this county.
yep,
That would be, the 750 is about 20 days
mhm, yep.
worth of reserve. And
So
so
it's not
that's a
quite a
start.
month. Mhm,
That's a
yeah,
start, but it's not,
Yeah.
it's not a big number.
yeah. But no,
Anyway, that was
I,
just,
yeah, you just talk or ask questions or whatever. I'm here to help any way I can.
okay, procedural then. We have our R and R hearing next Monday, the 25th, 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
You're going to be in attendance.
I'll be there. Yep,
Okay, and I assume you'll be there a little early so we can talk to you and,
absolutely. When you want me there?
our meeting, we're actually having our regularly scheduled meeting, correct, at 8:15. So we'll, whenever you get here is fine, but the earlier the better. We
Okay.
show up about 7:30, but
Mhm.
we could talk to you individually if we had questions, right? I
Mhm.
believe so. Okay.
Yep.
So
Okay.
whenever you can get here is fine. It's a nice
Yep.
little drive from Galva. I understand.
You
Pretty
got to
country.
drive, you got to drive that the other day,
Right,
didn't you?
right. Yeah, I mean, that's a side note. I told you, I got to see where the guy lives. He's got a really nice building, his house right across the road. And Galva's a really nice town. You ought to be proud of that.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so if we make any changes on the 25th at the R and R hearing,
Yep.
say we come in and we put our
Mhm.
heads together and we've decided we
Yep.
want to cut X. So we
Yep.
cut X,
Yep.
then that brings that R and R down. Say we cut 2 mils out of it, brings it down to 7 over.
Yep.
My understanding is that it's a 2-part meeting. We signed the intent to go over revenue neutral. That's one
Yep.
component, that's done. Then we
Yep.
work out a budget. If we come to conclusion on Monday, we sign that, then the process is over. What happens, Scott, if we can't come to consensus and a majority vote or whatever on Monday about budget changes?
About the
What's the
budget hearing.
timeline look?
Mhm.
Yeah, what's the
So-
timeline look like?
So Nikki is required to have we're supposed to have the budget done by October 1st at the final, where she can turn it over to actually to to have the rates turned over to the treasurer at that point. September 20th is the deadline for any, like those meetings that you're having. You're having yours quite a bit earlier. Some aren't having them till like maybe the 16th of September. Whatever that Monday, 15th, I think, Monday the 15th. But you have the opportunity to go down all the way until you finalize it and she certifies it with your signatures and she certifies it.
Okay, so do we have to, if we make changes and come down,
Mm-hmm.
change the budget, the question is, do we need to hold another hearing? With publication notices and all that?
No, by statute, you can always go down, you can't go up. If it was in the old way that was not revenue neutral and you had the hearing on the 25th or you published it and you decided you wanted to change something different, you can actually, in that case, you can actually change it. But in this case, we can't go up. We got to go down.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there seems to be some uncertainty.
What's the uncertainty?
So if we lower it on that day, then we put the new numbers in, that's what we certify that day.
Right, or at the next, you can have the revenue neutral rate hearing, you have to have that. But
Okay.
since you're going down, the budget hearing is where people will question where the budget is at. So the final certification of the budget and signing it, like on this page 1 here, where it has your signatures down here at the bottom.
Right.
Page 1, once it's all done, that is what is final signed and certified. That is what then it says on the very right-hand side of page 1, you'll see final tax rate, county clerk's use only. Do you see that on page 1 of the budget? It's a certificate page.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So what Nikki does is when you have come to a final mill levy, she'll also certify the final assessed value. So in that column, if you go down at the very bottom of that column for county clerk's use only, first look, there'll be a final value written in that rectangle down at the bottom. You see that?
Yes.
It says November 1st there, but it's usually, she tries to get it done by October 1st, the certification, so that the treasurer can go from there. Then she will go in based on that assessed value. She will go in and actually assess a mill rate to every one of those levies you have from general down to development services. Those are the levy funds. And when she certifies that based on the final assessed value, that's the budget that will actually be turned over to the treasurer and turned into the state of Kansas. So if you are at, like, if you look at the publication, I'm not trying to jump around here so much, but I'm just making sure I had the numbers right. So what was published, it's on page 20, but what was published was 44.646. The revenue neutral rate, which is on page 1, 36.174, and on page 20, that's the revenue neutral rate. So, excuse me. So anything under 44.646, we can go in and adjust that budget based off of the budget hearing. And then you would do your final signing, and she would have to certify the mill rates by fund if you reduce some. I think you did it last year, didn't you? Didn't that happen last year? It was, yeah, it was published at 8 or 9 mills. And then I think you went back in that one sheet I had where you took all the different capital outlays and capital improvement and you reduced it to, I think, revenue neutral. I think you went, is that?
125,000 over half a mil over,
You're half a mil over last year? Okay.
but somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So that's how it would be finalized is you have your hearing next Monday, and then you may have some people that say, you know, you need to go back and work on this. You can go down, you just can't go past that. You can't go up above that 44.646 the way the statute reads.
But so suppose we have a budget, we present it, we've made some changes, we've made some more cuts.
Mm-hmm.
They decide on the 25th, when we have our revenue neutral rate hearing and our budget hearing, and they cut it at that time.
Yeah.
Do we have to have a second budget hearing, or do we just put those new numbers in?
No, you just put the new numbers in. You can tell the public there at the meeting that we're gonna go back after all the input. I've had this happen a lot. People have been very, I wouldn't call it upset, but very passionate about, you know, what their thinking is on the budget. And I've had commissioners that don't change it because that's the vision they have for the county. So you can either change it or not change it. It's up to you at that point. But the final budget would be certified once you get to that mill rate that you want. You would sign it. She would put it, Nikki would put in the numbers, and that would be the certified budget on that front page.
So my question is on the 25th,
Mm-hmm.
we don't sign anything on the 25th, then we have to post another budget hearing date.
You do not have to do another budget hearing. No. The budget hearing is only because you published, and we wouldn't, I mean, I guess you could go in but there would be no reason to, because the statute says that you can go down and decide what that is after the budget hearing before you've signed the final budget.
The October 1st deadline is the hard deadline.
We have
Yeah.
to hold it by November 20th.
We have to hold it by September 20, which we will. We're holding it on the 25th.
We're letting them know where we're going to be at, but we can go lower.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, but I wouldn't think it'd be advisable to stretch it out too much. But
No.
But you're saying some commissions. I mean, this is just the way it works. You have this R&R hearing, we put our names on that. That scene we're going over, then we have our budget hearing, we have public input. And we
Yeah.
could sign a budget document that day.
That day you could sign it, absolutely.
But we don't necessarily have to. If
All-
I mean.
Yeah, all you'd have to do is put them on notice that day, you say, I mean, I've seen it happen a lot of different ways, but the public's giving their input. You can say, you know what, we're gonna revisit some of these things you've talked about today. We're gonna go back and look at maybe certain departments or certain areas of the budget. And we're gonna, at a regular meeting coming up here before, and I would say before September 20th probably, but to give Nikki time to, get everything finalized, but just say we'll have more discussion on this at a regular meeting. Try to do it before September 20th. And whenever you get to the point where you say, this is the mill rate we want, that's when you sign this certificate page. We would go in and make the number changes, all that. So you'd have the final budget and then you would sign it at some public meeting at that point.
Understand?
Thanks.
All right, I think we got that cleared up. So we have that timeline from the state of Kansas here somewhere, but it was nice.
Yep. Mm-hmm, sure.
Okay. The
Yep.
publication stuff is what throws me, but we've
Yeah.
met all the requirements. We're in great shape, so.
That's the way I understand it. You've met all the requirements. I did have a very interesting thing happen at Lynn County. The new clerk didn't get it published and the paper kind of messed up. So I've never seen this happen. They actually made a special paper edition 11 days before the hearing and published it and made sure everybody in the county had it in their hand.
We've got a newspaper guy in the room, so he.
I've done this, like I said, for 42 years. I've never seen the paper do a special issue just to make sure it got published. I'm not exactly sure what happened.
So our
But,
budget's been published, it's out
Yep.
there. All the
That's
notices
right. That's
been out.
right. You've done the publication and you put them on notice.
Told them this
That-
is the most it could be, but we're still working on it, and when
That's
we
right.
reach the levy we want, then we can sign it,
Yep.
because we've had our revenue neutral rate hearing, we've had our
Yep.
budget hearing,
Yep,
come in and voice their opinion.
that's right. Absolutely.
All right.
And you're still doing a public meeting because you're putting them on notice. If there's people there on the budget hearing and they want to question a certain department or a certain expenditure, you're putting them on notice. We're going to revisit this and we have to revisit it in public meeting. So, they can come back to the next public meeting or whenever, they can look at the agenda and they can come back, and it's that first one that they want to make sure the public knows this is where we are at this point and go from there.
So we build a plan here, guys.
I understand where we're at, so now I think that we wanna talk some possible changes or some options that everybody wants to throw out, and then we could see where we're at from there, so get your input on those changes.
Okay.
Am I right?
That's where I'm at, and I'm not looking to take any action. I was just wanting to visit with him, work session. If that would be on. So,
All right, just having it in the work session and not in the. And you okay with that? Just go moving this to a work session and.
Yeah, whatever,
I wanna
whatever.
put you in an advisory role,
But still having time.
yeah, in an advisory. What's that?
Mhm.
You're automatic words, I don't. I can sure try, but I don't know.
How can we get him on Zoom? He can't zoom in separately on your computer there.
I can try, I don't know if it'll continue or not.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
All right, we'll work through some technical difficulties here, I guess. Is there anything that needs to come before the board before we adjourn the regular meeting and go into a work session?
Yeah, I had a couple things I just wanted to,
All right,
they're working on 270th Road now, started last week. So that road's closed, but they're got the first layer done and then they're working on the ditches now.
Okay,
And we talked about a fiber optic deal on the reservation, pick the reservation in May or sometime. They started working on that, they're laying the cable now.
Right.
And the other thing that probably needs to be,
need to have Tammy here. She's not here.
okay, so we need to determine whether we're not gonna fund somebody to drive into the roads.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
I had one comment. I talked to Road 2 foreman about working on the entrance to the landfill off the blacktop. He said he was gonna come over and do some work and straighten that out. It's got some pretty big potholes in it. And they're gonna make some corrections there.
This is from the landfill.
You know, the entrance to the landfill. And there's some discussion too with the landfill about possibly moving the trailer parking pad to that south entrance. Just moving, maybe extending the tube and moving it to the west. And so having an extended driveway there, so instead of a concrete parking pad north on the way to the tree or the C and D pit, they would move it to the south there and open the gate. It would just
Some kind of second gate.
essentially, yeah.
With
A wider
that,
second
with
gate.
just the trailers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's just information. All right.
Be a cost saving. Would be the-
The cost savings is in the gravel that we no longer need on the west side of the landfill bill. That's the cost of. So, okay. All right, is there anything else?
Do you have anything else for? Right, okay.
Okay, now I'm just looking at my notes. I want to make sure we did everything before we. You know, now, okay. Any questions? Yeah, I don't have anything else. Sorry. I just wanted to confirm. So if there's nothing else to come before the official commission here, is there a motion to adjourn? And move into a work session? So moved. Is there a second?
Second,
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, the meeting's adjourned and we'll move into the work session as soon as we get this Zoom thing figured out.